I love the new music you have out now. And I know that people just describe you as blankly as country music. Do you have a way that you tend to describe yourself, whether it's country rock, or do you have a unique way you describe the music you make?
Um, no, I mean I spend a lot of time in Louisiana, so I feel like it has a lot of it has a kind of a Cajun rooty kind of backbeat to most of it. What I do, it's kind of rooted around the soul and kind of mix of Zydeco and country music that I grew up playing with my friends. And to me, I don't know, Jerry Reed-ish, it kind of comes, I get those compliments sometimes. I'm not the guitar picker that Jerry Reed was, but I do love Jerry Reed a lot, and I do enjoy an up-tempo show and having fun playing the guitar. I love guys like Merle Haggard and Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and stuff like that. So I don't know what this is country music to me, to be honest with you. Just today, just 2024. Um,
I was going to ask you who were some of the musical influences you had when you were growing up.
yeah, it was all the greats, from the guys I've already said to guys like Keith Whitley and Alan Jackson and George Strait, and then the next class was like Al Dean and Blake Shelton and Keith Urban. Um, I'm leaving out numerous influences. My dad is probably one of my biggest influences. He was a vocalist, a singer in the military for 30 years. Um, so I grew up kind of just hanging out with him, always backstage somewhere, always in a rehearsal hall or doing something. I started playing saxophone at a really early age, and I just I love all of that. I'm hoping it all just shines through as far as the influences are concerned. I'm hoping they're obvious when you hear the record. Guys like Marty Robbins should kind of poke their hands out. Guys like Tim McGraw should you should hear little bits and pieces of all of my influences. I think within the music for sure.
Sure, a little bit of Trace Adkins in there.
I love Trey. Yeah, we're from the same neck of the woods too. Both shot. We have so much in common. It's crazy.
I, I love your song Can't Leave Wrong Enough Alone. I think it's super connective for the fans who listen to your music, and it's the perfect title for a country song.
Okay.
Where did the inspiration for it come from?
Aerosmith, Sweet Emotions. I remember I was on my way to that right that morning, and I heard Sweet Emotions, and I was jamming in my truck. And I walked in with Philip Lamons and Skip Black, two good buddies of mine. We write together all the time, and I was like, "Boys, how do we recreate something like this, as far as like feel and attitude goes? You know what I mean? But like country music, you know what I mean?" And I remember Phil took off on that lick, and I was like, "You have to teach me that. That's awesome." But let's go. And we took off, and I remember we wrote the song. Um, I guess I just like it when it's wrong as the hook. And then when we wrote the bridge, we said, "Can't leave wrong enough alone." And we all looked at each other and we're like, that's way cooler, right? Like that has to, I ain't never heard that, but that's cooler, right? And so we made that the hook and made the other thing the bridge. I think it's one of my favorite tunes to play live. Um, it's just the energy and the attitude behind that song is straight up who I was growing up,
Exactly.
straight up all the way through my 20s. Um, just going, just getting it.
Is that a typical songwriting session for you with Philip and Skip? Do you guys need to have like a sound before you come up with lyrics that round it out, or is there no typical songwriting process for you?
There's so many typical processes, I think, that you end up just like figuring out which people operate, in certain realms. And I, I I try to find my spot in a room quickly, like figure out what I'm there to contribute that day. Is it the idea? Is it some lyrics? Is it a melody? Is it just the voice? Am I just the guy singing the thing that y'all are making up? Am I just the vessel for this thing, this idea that you have? And I enjoy all of those positions, to be honest with you. I love the art of co-writing songs, just making up stuff, to be honest with you. I just love it. So uh as far as Phil and Skip and I are concerned, we usually just get in there and talk shit for a little while and then something comes out, and we start making it up, and always a good time, regardless of the end result. But I don't know if we miss Harley or Philip Lamons is one of my absolute favorite dudes on the planet, and one of my favorite co-writers for sure. And same, I could say the same about Skip.
How hands on are you then when it comes to the production side of the music you make?
Yes, so I was real hands on with this record that came out. It was, I think it was supposed to be more of an audition for a producer, for an actual producer, and we the record company gave me, certain amount of dollars to go in for a couple days into a studio with my band because I'd been kind of preaching um, how good my band was and how good we sounded live. And I was just convinced if we could get into a studio, we could capture that feel and that sound that was nothing else. Nobody else was doing it because it was us. And they messed around and gave me the opportunity to do it. And we turned in really, really great work that I'm incredibly proud of. In just 2 days, we recorded 12 songs. And right, I know, right? It was awesome. So it felt like something that was just like meant to be, meant to stay a whole package, meant to be together, never meant to be broken up. This thing happened. We did it, and I'm so proud of it that I'm, staking my career on it kind of. So it's like it's one of those things where when it happens, I don't know, you know it. You just know.
Sometimes
So,
lightning strikes, right?
sometimes and you gotta catch it. And did now was I kind of like, hey, do something cooler here, or like, hey, can you give us one? Of course, yeah. I'm the guy in charge. Essentially, it has to be something that I love. And lucky for me, the guys are so good that we had played the music most of the year anyway. There were only two or three songs that we hadn't really played at all. We just got in and cut. And the rest of them we had pretty much worked out. So we just got in there and have fun, just played the songs. My wife and kids came and hung out. It was a really good time. And by the time we were turning it in, they were like, "Hey, you're gonna have to finish this," and I was like, "Yeah, thank you." So essentially, I produced it with the band and this amazing, incredible engineer, um, co-producer named Jerry Conrad, who's since then. This was 2021 when we made this record on accident, and since then he's gone on to produce some amazing records. A huge shout out to Jerry Conrad because he's a huge part of the sound. He mixed it all. He was the engineer capturing the sound too, and listen to me say, "Hey man, play that different." And yeah, it was just one of the coolest experiences I've had, and I'm so proud of it.
Your full-length album, The State of Country Music, which I believe is the same title of your podcast, is out now. What kind of fan response have you been receiving to this new album?
I've gotten really great responses, to be honest with you.
Good.
I haven't been keeping up. Man, the podcast kind of took a whole. I don't know. I hit a block as far as like creativity comes when it comes to just reading like charts off weekly. It was like, man, I can't even keep up with half these charts. I don't know who some of these people are. I don't know if this chart's even legitimate even more because now there's these over here, and you keeping up with it all would have taken a team, and I had bitten off more than I could chew. So now I'm circling back and capturing content that can be um, delivered within the podcast form, and doing it a little bit more structured and I'll have a little more help too.
I know you said you haven't really focused much on the fan response from the album, but have you a personal favorite song or maybe one that holds a special place in your heart? Certainly, Can't Leave Wrong Enough Alone is a banger of a track, but is there one that maybe holds a special significance for you personally?
They all honestly hold pretty special significance for me. Mr. Jerry's Ghost is a true story about me getting shot. So that one's got a heavy place in my heart for sure that I've been told never to get on the stage again without telling the story and playing the song. So um I was happy that one came out. I was happy the one it came out as well as it did. Just because I don't know. I've never really heard a song like it, so I'm excited about that. And I don't know if anybody else could have written it or done it just because it happened to me, you know. So it's just a very personal song. And then I love the state of country music. I love Born and Raised on the Bayou. I love Adderall Head. I love What Does the World Expect from Me? Thing About Things. I love all the songs, but to be honest with you, I feel like um, I'm proud.
Your pal papa. Was there any of the songs that challenged you maybe the most creatively? I know you banged them out in 2 days, so they couldn't have been too difficult, but maybe one you lingered on a little bit to make it feel more perfect for you.
Um, you know, I don't think so. Only a Girl was cut after the fact. So it was cut almost 2 years later. Same band, same setup. But it was right before I signed a distribution deal with 1 RPM, who I wouldn't be able to do any of this without these guys. So they loved the song so much, they're like, "Hey, we would love to include this." I was like, "Yeah, let's do it. Just help me, figure it all out." And so we got back in the studio, and I remember spending a good solid hour or two trying to figure out what the intro was and not how it went, but just like how it felt and where the cool stuff came from. And I forget what I said to Eddie, but I referenced the song, and I was like, "Oh, Eddie, maybe it's a steel intro, or like like a steel sig lick, kind of like whatever song I was thinking of." And he was like, "Oh, I got you, Dan," and he just took off. And as soon as he did, we were all like, "That's it. That's that's it. Let's play this now. Now that we know how it goes, now that we know where the special sauce is coming from." And then everybody else just added to that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that one for sure took a little bit more time. I think it was just because we had never played it live. We had never even um it, it was a great demo, and so I was like, "Hey, I love the demo, but can I please like make it sound like the rest of the record and put my guys on it?" And so what we did to it, to me, made it blend completely in perfectly with the rest of the record. And it tells another part of my story that I really needed to tell. And shows a different side of me that the record didn't have yet. So big props, Mr. Tim Whipperman, for pointing that out, picking that song out, because I'm a huge fan of that song.
What do you hope lingers with audiences that explore the state of country music as a whole, as far as this album goes?
Um, I don't know. Lingers. I honestly feel like the up tempo stuff is gonna resonate with people, just because that's kind of what my show feels like. It's pretty up tempo and rock and rolling and a lot of fun. Um, but I still lean into the ballad stuff too, man. And I love telling a good story, and I love slowing it down and singing. Um, and so I hope people just think of country music when they hear the record. I mean, that's been the best compliments I've seen, is it getting called like a neo traditional uh record, which wasn't what I was trying to do, but that's exactly what I'm going for. Something that sounds like something you've heard your whole life, but brand new at the same time. And so um I feel like we nailed it, to be honest with you. And yeah, I figured out how to get it out to the world. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I can't say that enough. I feel like that should be the title of this episode. Proud.
Subtitle of the album, I'm
It is
so
kind of
proud.
like talking about.
State of country
It's
music,
kind of like
I'm so
talking about
proud.
my son. It's like talking about my son hitting home runs in baseball. It's like, man,
What?
or hitting a home run that was a grand slam. Like,
Oh
I'm
my
pretty proud
God.
of that. So, like, I could talk about it all day, and all the good that I have to say about it. I am. It's Papa, proud Papa. So, yeah, I'm super proud of my guys. Straight up, the band
Good.
and here. Um, I feel like everybody was kind of waiting for an opportunity like that, and everybody showed up and just knocked it completely out of the park. And without my buddy Dennis, playing those guitar parts on some of those songs, like, it's not that. It doesn't turn into that. And without Robert Miller on bass, and then adding like baritone, a lot of mandolin stuff that he added, um, and then other electric guitar parts, like, it's just everybody contributed perfectly. And as far as producing goes, um, they made it extremely easy for me to just sit back and be like, "Yeah, yeah, that's cool," or yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you. That sounds great, right? Do y'all like that? And everybody's like, yeah, we love it. So when we can all get on that page and just like rock and roll and I don't know, it's just cool when you when something happens and the whole room's just going, yeah, dude, yes, that's it. Like it's kind of all of us producing it, you know what I mean? So to take just to just claim it as producers, I don't know. I guess I did book the studio and my wife did all the PA work. So
That's
work out
perfectly understandable for you to be proud then. Everybody had a hand in it. One of the
totally
kids grabbing you a drink here or there is perfectly.
my non-alcoholic beers. Oh wait.
You shared the stage with some incredible artists like Alison Krauss, legends like Tim McGraw, Dwight Yoakam. What can fans still expect from a live Dan Smalley performance?
It just depends on what you see me as and where you see me. Sometimes it's with a band and it's a festival situation, and those are fun, loud usually. Um, and now that my music's out, it'll probably be easier for you to sing along at these festivals, these places where I'm playing a lot of original music. But man, I love big energy shows. I love guys like Garth Brooks, to be honest with you, and Cody Johnson. Um, and my buddies Randall King out there killing it, and Jake Worthington and Zach Top and those guys. I'm a big fan of country music infused with power. Like, let's go, let's turn up and play music. Let's get loud and have a great time. And I'm all about musicianship and guys like actually playing music on stage and having a good and that connection that happens with a band and a crowd whenever you create that atmosphere where everybody's just like into it. And it's there's no other feeling I can find that touches it. It's untouchable.
You, who would you love to collaborate with on a song in the future?
Man, there's so many artists that I would love to collaborate because I've never really collaborated with anybody. This is my first foray into the kind of trying to blow up any kind of music career. I'm a songwriter and a dad most of the time. I've been on a stage and entertaining a long time. I would love to be able to do it the rest of my life at a level that sustained my wife and children's eating habits. And so, as far as collaborations go, um, me and my boy Randall King hang out and write some cool stuff together. So you never know what might happen there. I think Will Jones is one of the best musicians, singers, songwriters that's come out in a very long time. If you hadn't heard of him, I think you will soon. But Lainey Wilson and I have written some songs. I consider her kind of a sister, kind of a little sister. We're from the same neck of the woods. Um, Ashley McBride and I we co-wrote "Accidentally Drunk" together. That's on my record. We co-wrote a song called "Velvet Red" that she put on her record. I consider her a friend. We write the same kind of circles and stuff. But other than that, man, I'd love to collab with Willie. Wouldn't that be amazing if that could happen? That would I got to tour with him and tell him the story about the first time I met him, which was a long time ago. He was in Shreveport, my hometown, and I had some Canadian buddies that were in town, and they liked to take me out gambling with them because I was 21 and good looking, I guess, and I could play the guitar. And but they were like, "Hey, Willie Nelson's playing. Do you want to go?" And I was like, "Of course." And I had work the next morning. I worked at a golf course, and I didn't care. And we went, and the it was like the second row, so I got to sit there and watch Willie play all night with the guy or with his band, and and just get blown away. And then we went and lost a lot of money and it ended up staying way too late out on the casinos. And I was late to work the next morning, but when I
Yeah,
pulled up, Willie's bus was in the parking lot, and I was
it
like,
was worth it.
I'll be. And so I had like a little 3-song acoustic demo that I'd made with my uncle, and I caught him on the turn, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you this," and told him about a couple mutual friends that we have from a cover band that I'd been in for a while down in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and and he told me to give the CD to his driver, and so I did, and I doubt they ever listened, but man, getting to go back out and actually open for Willie and tour with him a little bit was just that full circle moment that I'll absolutely never forget the entire experience while I was out there. Every single minute, every second. It was him and Allison Krauss, and
Oh my gosh.
it was a dream. It was like I woke up every day just like in the greatest moods, unbelievably happy, involved in anything like that. It was just a dream come true for sure. Hopefully, we can get back out there on the road in the United States. Man, I'm headed back to the UK actually tomorrow for 3 more weeks. They really like me over there, so I'm gonna keep on plugging and
Do your
until they tell
thing.
me, yeah. Um, but some other cool stuff popping off in the States that I'm excited about. A couple things in July that I'm really, really, really excited about. Excited to announce one of them. Um, and then some other things that are pretty cool. So keep up.
Well, what would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the incredible music that you make?
Oh, just thank you. Like, thank anybody that's happened to stumble upon me or come across my music because of a friend or a family member that's told them about me. um I'm incredibly grateful for your time, and I hope you find something that you connect with, because I absolutely poured every bit of my heart and soul into this thing, and I hope you enjoy it.